Okay, boys, by this point, you already know that recently I came back into World of Warcraft. And believe it or not, I did not do it for my love to Blizzard, no. I actually wanted to conduct a little bit of an experiment because so many people in my comment section have told me, Midnight is the best expansion, oh, you gotta try it, the game is good now again, oh. And you know what? I really wanted to check it out for myself because there were some people who told me the complete opposite, and I don't know who's right. I can only make an educated guess, but I actually want to be fair for once and actually play the game again, see what's changed, and judge it for myself. It would give me a much better viewpoint for when I criticize Blizzard in the future, and you know I'm about to do that. So for now, I'm experiencing everything, and the most important part is that I did not want to jump into Midnight willy-nilly on an old character that's just ready to go. No, I wanted to do it from the perspective of a new player. So I opened a fresh level 1 character, and now I'm blazing through World of Warcraft, and oh boy, am I suffering. The new player experience is so garbage that the YouTube AI overlord that has every knowledge about me just doesn't stop recommending me doom posts of people who are experiencing the exact same thing. So I got this video recommended to me just a couple of hours ago, and I'm about to check it out.
World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft, World of fucking Warcraft. God damn, this shit used to be plastered everywhere. The game's been around for 20 years.
The good old
I
days.
mean, I'd be lying if I'm not tempted to try it. So, okay, you know what? You have me intrigued. The art looks cool, and it's
I'll lower the
Blizzard.
volume a bit.
How can you go wrong with them? So I go to their store page, and what's this? $15 a month? I have to pay monthly? Is there something I have to lease? So what? I can't outright own the game? So what's all this
What's the point of owning a game anymore? I thought that we're in the future, buddy. You only have stuff on a lease. No, you can never own what you purchase. And to be honest, I think that this is one of the strongest point Guild Wars 2 has over every pretty much MMO right now. The fact that they give you an option to buy the game once and that's it, well, it's the only option, there is no way. And not only that you do one-time purchase, it's dissectable. You can choose which expansion to buy. That is fantastic. So if you only want to try out the first expansion, you can just buy it. And if you decide to go to the next one, you can purchase it then. You don't have to make all the decisions right there and then. That is perfect. But World of Warcraft is intentionally built so Blizzard can maximize profits. So they push all of this crap at first, and then they tell you, oh, hey, you know what? You need subscription, chief, and you don't have the base game? Well, too bad, chump. Also, they make huge discounts on yearly subscription because they want to force you into purchasing them. They want to goad you, and that's so cringe. I hate this tactic. Honestly, it should be, like, completely forbidden. It should be prison worthy, but at the same time, I understand, like, every company does that.
shit then? They have a price point. Oh, okay, this is an expansion. Wait, so I have to buy an expansion plus pay monthly? What about the rest of these expansions? Do I have to buy these too? I sure hope not. There's like a dozen of these. Oh, this one looks cool. Oh, and she's kinda hot. Who is that? What's her name? Let me look it up. Huh. Alex Straza. She's a dragon? Or a hybrid or something? So what, if she had a baby, would it be a human or a dragon? Alright, let me see a little bit more of her. What does she look like in game? Oh.
Oh?
What are you smoking there, man? What cigar you got? What is that?
Black and Milds.
Hey, bro, I just gotta say, you're looking really toned these days, and, you know, I just gotta say, it makes me a little jealous seeing how swole you're getting.
Oh yeah. You know what else is really toned right now?
God.
What else is really toned?
Take a guess. Take a guess.
Hey, man, you can't be saying that shit. I got my son around here.
Oh yeah. How's your son?
He's so beautiful. He's got to be around here somewhere.
Yeah. Where's he at?
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
He's gonna. Oh my god. Oh my days. Are you actually kidding me?
Oh my god. So beautiful.
Your boys.
What an expansion, huh?
Look at it go. It's so
Beautiful.
so majestic.
His wings.
What in God's name? It all
So
ended.
in all seriousness, as a new player for the last few years, this game is awesome. It kicks ass, it's addicting as hell, and it's no wonder the game has been around for 20 plus years. However, a lot of the confusion I brought up at the beginning are probably some real things new players are confronted with. A monthly subscription for a video game is not appealing, especially in an era where there's already so many subscriptions people have for other forms of entertainment. Not being able to outright
He's actually right about that. I think it's the same problem with Netflix and all of these, like Amazon Prime and all that stuff. It's just too much, man. We have too many subscriptions. I have absolutely no idea, and I have no problem to purchase one or maybe two subscriptions, but when it becomes like 20, that's too much. I'd rather cancel all of them.
own a game can turn many people away. Now, the game does offer a free trial for the first 20 levels, but the way Blizzard is currently onboarding new players is atrocious. But the correct way to try the game is buried away for any curious players willing to try it. And well, of course, I'm here to show you that. But for now, let's take a quick look to see what shit Blizzard is brewing.
Oh, damn, this is an old one. You usually just see the Alliance one, but that's actually the Horde cover. Jesus. Man, you rarely see it.
Brewing for all the new players
So beautiful.
willing to try the game.
I don't know why. The one for Legion just slaps. I love the cover for Legion. I have the disc. Well, not the disc. Obviously, they didn't have disc when it came out. I have like a line of code, but I still have it in my drawer. I think I can get it. But yeah, it's so cool. I actually have a physical copy of this.
So right from the get-go, this is one of the first screens a new player sees, the character creation. And for first impressions, it looks cool. There's plenty of classes available, all the races look cool, the variety is amazing, but there's one problem. I personally suffered the consequences of this screen not being a bit more clear as to what classes would be best for me. The first class I chose when I started playing World of Warcraft was Druid, and by level 48, that shit was getting so complicated I had to start looking at guides just to figure out what the fuck I should be doing, only to find out this class is one of the more complicated classes in the game. The game simply doesn't tell you which ones will save you from the stress of having to look at online guides about rotation.
No, you have to do it for every class. It doesn't matter which one you choose. But yeah, Blizzard can definitely add like a complexity meter. I think that Guild Wars 2 even have one. As far as I remember, right? On each character you have like how complex it is. I think Mesmer is like the most complicated one. I may be wrong about that, but yeah, I mean, they can definitely add that. That's actually a really good point.
Or optimizing your build for optimal damage. How about you optimize this fucking screen first? Anyways, let's pick a class. I'm gonna go with Warrior. Sounds easy enough. You make your character, create a name, and you're good to go.
He's one of us, boys. Making a bald warrior. That's good. That's good. He's trustworthy. He's credible.
Afterwards, you're launched into the tutorial of the game, and you would think, oh, that's neat, it has a tutorial, this should go pretty good. Yeah, about as good as trying to stick your dick in a Fruit Loop because this shit is horrendous. I'm not going to detail this whole section, but to put it simply, this is not a tutorial for new players. It plays more like a catch-up for returning players. You're just tossed into the world, you do all this weird shit, you kill these frogs, then you gotta kill goats because this fucking bitch gets hungry in the middle of all this. Then you find yourself hanging from a helicopter by a goddamn rope, and the whole time you're just thinking to yourself, what is going on?
Yep, making
what the
pigs
fuck
explode.
happened? Jesus Christ! So literally within the first 20 minutes of gameplay, you're leveling up like crazy, already earning a bunch of abilities at max speed with no pace whatsoever.
Oh,
like,
thank you. Thank you. That's literally what I said when I started playing again. You earning abilities way too fast. It's so crazy. I mean, I think when I finished the island, I had like 8 abilities. That's crazy. If you compare it to old World of Warcraft, like Classic, man, that would never be the case. You got them snail pace, but it made it all the better because now you had to actually work hard to achieve abilities, and once you got them, you appreciated them way more because they were worth something. But nowadays, everything just being thrown at you liberally, it doesn't have any weight. You're just kind of like, oh, now I have to add something more to my rotation. Cool. You don't even have time to establish your rotation, and you already need to like min-max the way you click buttons. It's so weird, especially for new players. Again, personally for me, I don't care because I already played the game and I already know all the abilities. So for me, it doesn't matter. But for a new player, that would confuse the hell out of them. It's just way too much.
Wouldn't it be better if you actually had to spend hours slowly building up your class?
There we go.
Learn your abilities, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and eventually put your skills to the test by playing harder content? But no, the game expects you to already know half that shit because, once again, this isn't a tutorial for new players. Now, it is worth mentioning that the game does let you choose another starting point aside from the tutorial, but here, many of the same problems still persist. A big one being you just level way too fast. Within just the first hour, your hotbar gets nearly filled up. And on top of all...
That's crazy. Look how many abilities. Bro, that's insane. He's level 19. Like, that's crazy. All of this is already full. In Classic, when you're level 19, yeah, you have a lot of mostly, like, random buffs and stuff. You don't have all of this. This is insanity. No new player would ever understand what the hell is going on. And if they try to understand, they would just play suboptimally and they would deal no damage and they would learn nothing. So it would just create a point where new players eventually reach max level and they still don't have any idea what the hell they're doing.
The game is easy as dick. All the enemies die within just a few hits, so a lot of the abilities just kind of feel pointless because no matter what you use,
it doesn't matter.
Kills. There's no strategy whatsoever. It's just hit buttons and kill, which is such a disgrace to the actual game because you'd think this is how the whole game is, but it's not. The game is trying to fast forward you to max level because that's where most other players are. So as a result, you're catapulted through the leveling stage of the game, and good luck trying to hang on and grasp your head around many of the basic concepts because eventually you get presented with this gargantuan skill tree that is made up of a multitude of abilities. Passive abilities, abilities that replace other abilities, abilities that give you a 5% bonus in damage. I mean, holy fuck. It's like the game is expecting a new player to remember all this different shit that they're unlocking at the speed of light. It leaves you discombobulated by the constant defecation of abilities this game shits out. It's insane the speed at which the game moves, especially at the start. It's like they're scared if a new player isn't presented with all this cool stuff, they're going to lose the player's interest. But this does.
Of course, because they're assuming every new player is a Gen Z Fortnite Labubu addict, and that's all they do. They cater the game for them. But that's not the case. People are actually normal. If you ever leave the sphere of TikTok, you would understand that. And WoW can still appeal to these people, but it's Blizzard who are vehemently refusing to do so. They're doing all of their graphs and all of their shit, like whatever. Like, nobody cares about that. It's like all for nothing, and that's what makes me probably the most frustrated with them, because they don't seem to understand who their audience truly is. They think it's like those like weirdos, Disney lovers, adults. No, that's not the case. It's either like they think they have like Disney adults or Gen Zers playing the game, and both of them are far from it. Nobody playing WoW. They need to look at classic success and draw inspiration from it. The only solution I can see is Classic Plus and a complete revamp of World of Warcraft lore, but I don't know. Maybe they would pull it off. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do so. But just assuming that every new player that comes into the game is a complete Boglamite, that's a problem.
The exact opposite. Why can't there be a version of this game that goes at a normal pace, something to allow a player to really understand how their class works, that feels rewarding, and doesn't try to stroke your flute before you even know how to play the flute? If you're a new player, well, you're playing the wrong version of the game. Yeah, that's great. All that effort spent just for me to be playing the wrong version of the game. You see, currently there's like 6 different versions of World of Warcraft, but for the sake of simplicity, there's technically 2 different versions. The main version, which is referred to as retail, and then there's classic.
Ugh.
Classic version of the game is the original game from 2004. It's much simpler, doesn't have a dozen classes, eases you in the game much more efficiently, and as you
that's
can
beautiful.
imagine where I'm going with this.
That's beautiful, man. I can play classic my entire life. It's just so good. It is just that good. I can look at everything and it's beautiful. It was just simpler. I mean, sometimes simple is better. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Even looking at the questy tracker, man, like it's just perfect. I love it. I love everything about it. You could actually immerse yourself inside of the world, and it never get old. I can level up in Ashenvale all over again. I don't mind. Like, I literally could not care less. I can walk into Atrocious until the end of my days, and I wouldn't mind. It's just beautiful. But I cannot stand to play retail new player experience one more second.
I think this is actually the best version for a new player. Now, I'm not going to bring up the age-old debate of which is better, retail versus classic.
Classic.
Nerds have been arguing about this since the birth of Christ. You'll always hear arguments like, WoW hasn't been WoW since this expansion. Well, actually, WoW hasn't been WoW since 2004. This debate is shit for the birds. Both games are great. End of story.
No, nobody likes retail, and the numbers do reflect it. The only reason retail stands still is because there is no better alternative. The moment a good vertical MMORPG would rise, WoW is dead. And we've seen it happens with Overwatch. Everyone said, oh, Overwatch is so good, and then Marvel Rivals came in and swooped and took every player Overwatch had, and then, only then, it forced Blizzard into actually making Overwatch better. Oh, by the way, it was called Overwatch 2. It wasn't even called Overwatch 1. They actually retracted that. Beautiful, right? So only when Blizzard is faced with competition, they actually start moving their asses and do something for the better. And the same thing happened with Diablo and Path of Exile. Same exact thing. D4 was so garbage, it had so many issues, and then PoE came in, swooped the entire community away from them, Blizzard started working, and D4 is now good again. It's not the best, I don't think it's better than Path of Exile, but it's really good for what it is, okay? So, it just goes to show, if Blizzard faced with a competition, they would actually put some effort into their games. Right now, WoW has 0 competitors, and that's exactly why Blizzard is allowing themselves to just go sleep. That's it. That's literally the sole reason for why people still play retail.
After playing Classic for over 50 hours, I was astonished at how much more I understood about the game versus my first 50 hours on retail. Don't get me wrong, there objectively is way more to retail because the game has 20 plus years worth of content and updates. As a result,
but it is so disorganized and just unintuitive, nobody's ever going to treat that as content. Yeah, you can technically go to the old zones, one-shot everything, do the quest, who cares? Nobody cares. They're empty, they're dead. There's no incentive for you to go back and do all of that stuff with like new players. You don't have a mentor system like FF14, you don't have a horizontal gameplay like Guild Wars 2, which is not something I advocate for WoW specifically, but it's just another way to show, hey, you can do this, but Blizzard chooses not to. They can easily go the Final Fantasy XIV route and make a mentor system where players are incentivized to go back to older dungeons and do it with newer players to earn some rewards, but they don't do that. They can easily scale everything to the player level in terms of like dungeons and quests and raids, so you can make older raids like Blackwing Lair relevant again. You can easily do that, but they don't do it because they don't want to. They look at Final Fantasy XIV and they don't do anything like them. They don't take the good parts, and that's the problem with current day Blizzard, because old Blizzard used to do this. Old Blizzard looked at EverQuest and all of these good MMOs, and they took what's better and they elevated it. They took an existing formula and just made it better. That's how Blizzard used to do it back in the day, and everyone loved it. But today that's not the case. They think they know better, but they don't. They think they do, but they don't.
Well, it's
Catch
going
that
to
reference?
take a while for me to understand a lot of the basics in retail because a lot of the basics get shrouded by all the other things going on. When you create your character in Classic, you start off in the zone in which your selected race originates from. From there, you start doing the chain of quests in that zone, which organically leads you out more and more into the world, eventually bringing you to the major city of your faction. While Classic doesn't have a tutorial unlike Retail, the starting zone is essentially what the tutorial is. Each quest is a means of getting you to practice with your class. You're faced with several different scenarios where you're challenged with how to use your class in those situations. And because you're not having a new ability getting jammed up your ass every 10 minutes, you actually have time for trial and error to see what works and what doesn't work. The game goes at a steady pace where you level up every hour or so, and with a slower pace, it actually helps you understand a lot quicker because you're not overwhelmed with an overabundance of information from dozens of passives, buffs, and new abilities you'd be getting so fast in Retail. The game actually feels like a game, a traditional RPG game at that, and it really does play like one. However, the quests here aren't any better than current day World of Warcraft quests. Most of them are redundant. You have to go out and kill these things here, go talk to this guy, rinse and repeat.
But then you realize it was never about the questing. It was all about immersing yourself inside of the world. That's it. It was always about interaction with new people, hearing some great stories here and there, of course, but for the most part, it was just exploration. That was the entire thing. Exploration and meeting new people. And that was beautiful. It worked for what it was. It was fantastic. Because yes, you can easily claim that current day World of Warcraft has way better dungeons and has way better raids. Obviously, nobody's going to argue otherwise. But at the same time, it lost its soul. So the trade wasn't worthy. You traded leveling for endgame, but you could have had both. And you could have had both. And at the same time, you just lose all the players. Because you're so focused on the 1%ers, you're not willing to cater to the other people who actually want to be sociable. And even if you want to play alone, right? Most people do play MMOs alone, but they still want that connection. They want to see people running around, talking with each other, and things to just happen naturally. But nowadays, that's not the case. You go, you do you queue into a dungeon, you get teleported in, you do the thing, and you're out. Nobody even speaks. That's it. That's all you do. So now you lost every ounce of interaction you had inside of the game, and you lost basically all the fun that it used to offer. There's no leveling, you don't understand anything, and except for the end game, nothing is really noteworthy. So what's the point?
I've noticed this weird trend of going out to kill animals for these quests. What the fuck is it with this game and killing animals in nature? Regardless of the quests being very formulaic, you do have a better understanding of what's going on. As you move along the quest line, you understand about your race, the zone that you're in, how your race fits into the larger world. This is leagues better for a new player, and how come Blizzard doesn't funnel new players into Classic to at least try World of Warcraft and see why it's so beloved? Well, I guess for starters, we have to bring up the big elephant in the room. The game has clearly aged, visually speaking. It looks like a Nintendo 64 game, which for me personally, I don't have such a big problem with. I've seen way worse graphically speaking in today's library of games, yet people love them. While the graphics are dated, the art direction does a lot of the heavy lifting. The game can be quite stunning with its presentation.
It is. I think it still holds. I mean, yes, obviously if you look at like the paper thin trees and all of that stuff, it can get kind of icky at times, but personally for me, I never cared about graphics. As long as the game looks good to a certain degree and it's playable and works buttery smooth like WoW does, yeah, I mean, I don't care. But that's personally me. I understand why some people do care about the graphics, but to a certain extent. I mean, if you want photorealistic stuff and that's all you care about, I think that's kind of odd. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
The zones feel distinct. You can immediately tell the vibe each zone is going for with your first...
Yeah, the art is way more important than the graphics, 100%. I always say that.
...steps into them. The landscapes and structures, you see them tell stories of this world that the quests just never could. The NPCs could use a bit of work, but, well, they can still be quite appealing. For a 2004 game, the art here is pretty fucking cool. Furthermore, a lot of the mechanics of the game is a bit more unconventional by today's standards. You see, most games today with a questing system works something like this. You pick up a quest has a bunch of information tied to it, but most people don't read it because the game is already pinning on your map where to go. So you walk in one direction, and once you reach the area, then it holds your hand through the rest of the quest like you're a fucking idiot. This has just become the standard in modern gaming. However, in World of Warcraft Classic, you actually have to read and figure out where to go, what to kill, who to talk to. The game just doesn't label it for you. It's honestly a breath of fresh air having to use your brain, but there is one big problem I personally have with this. You walk so fucking slow, which, you know, it may sound like a nitpick at first, but it gets tiring really fast. As I mentioned before, the zones are really amazing to walk through those first few times, and if you could just sprint or teleport everywhere, then it would kind of defeat any exploration you may have. But this is just too damn slow most of the time. Walking to places takes so long that you genuinely end up dozing off with your thoughts trying to pass the time.
But it also makes the game incredibly rewarding when you start to understand how to like min-max movement, right? I'm assuming you're not playing mage. Right now he's playing mage, so it doesn't matter because he can blink and portal everywhere. But if you're playing any other character, like me playing a warrior, god damn, it's gonna take you some time, okay? And it makes it all the more rewarding that you know which quest to pick up, and then you do all of them collectively, use a heartstone, go back, and just complete all of them at once and go one level, like, easily, like that. It's so good, and it feels so rewarding when you learn how to just completely min-max your time management, and it's perfect. I love that. I mean, I'm time maxing, right? It's great. I love that. It's perfect. It teaches you about how to improve. Naturally, it all happens like within the game. You don't have to check any guides. You don't have to do anything. You just think for yourself. It sounds insane, I know, but you do that. And when you get that first mount, level 40, oh my god, it feels fantastic. Now you don't have to walk anymore. Now you have all the stuff. And of course, once you get like flight paths and all of that, it rewards you so much because nowadays flight paths don't really matter. Nobody cares about them. But back in the day, oh man, once you got to this mofo, holy, it was perfect. Finally, you didn't have to walk all this distance anymore.
Are able to toggle a walk function just to be able to press a button and go on autopilot. So you'd think that maybe you can go empty your ass out really quick while walking to where you need to go, but none of the roads are straight enough, so you just end up running into a tree mid-shit just to come back and realize you still gotta walk there. While it is very tedious at times, thankfully the game does feature many ways to travel around places, such as the Flight Masters allowing you to hitch a ride around a zone or even to other zones, but sometimes there's only like one Flight Master in a zone, which is such bullshit.
Yeah.
And the worst...
He's 100% right about that, but to be fair, they used the old port. I guess they did not want to add something that did not happen, but if they ever do make Classic Plus, they should 100% add more points to Flight Masters, and they should make almost everything account-wide, so you only have to do it once.
Part about all of this is sometimes you have a quest that sends you going back and forth, passing around information to NPCs that are scattered all over the place. Aren't these guys wizards? Can't they just telepathically transmit all this information? Why do you have to send me around as the fucking mailboy? Now, obviously, keep in mind, I'm not trying to steer away a new player. I'm trying to be as fair as possible about what you're getting into if you're willing to try it. There are many aspects about the game that may be inconvenient or tedious, and it's not like it's game-breakingly bad or anything. For being one of my favorite games of all time, World of Warcraft definitely has a lot of trouble attracting new players to it. Most players don't even...
Bro, what is that? I can't believe that this race is actually real and inside of the game. It looks so disgusting. It makes me want to hurl. The fact that you even put it inside of the game is revolting. I honestly can't believe that this one exists. It looks fake. If you told me this was community made, I would have believed you. But Blizzard made? Hell nah. But they actually stooped this low.
Attempt to try it, since it's intimidating to try a game that has been around for so long, and I can't even blame them. When I tried World of Warcraft 3 years ago, there were many times during the leveling stage that I almost quit. I didn't quite get it at times. The game was too easy with little strategy involved. Retail just isn't a new player-friendly game. It expects you to already know how an MMO plays, and I sure as hell never played one before, and I feel like most people wanting to try one are of course going to try the most popular MMO out there. With Classic, a lot of quality of life features and updates are definitely missing, making the game feel aged in certain aspects, but the core gameplay plays most similar to a traditional fantasy RPG, which makes it way more accessible for new players. This wasn't meant to be a fully fledged review of Classic. Maybe someday down the road, I'll make a more comprehensive video about Classic, but after spending time playing the game, I slowly came to a realization that new players should be trying this instead of retail, but no one really says it. I always see comments that say Classic is for the people who want to relive the old days of WoW and nothing more, and I completely disagree. Despite this being a 2004 game that has aged in several aspects, the game is way more accessible for new players, and it's a damn good time to be had. It always gives me the vibe I'm playing through my own Lord of the Rings adventure in a living, breathing world, and even though it is an MMORPG, when viewing it in the context of just an RPG, it still holds up. So I hope I've intrigued you enough to go give it a shot. Classic is a great starting point, and of course retail is still getting expansions every few years. So eventually after some time you should shift over to the main version of the game and have fun with it. It's a world you'll never forget, and you'll forever remember the epic adventures you had in the world of Warcraft.
Damn. Actually true. Okay, oh damn, that was it. Okay, good video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. You guys can watch it for yourself, give it a like. It was actually pretty nice. I did not expect him to actually advocate for Classic towards the end, but to be honest, with how retail is currently operating, I'm not even surprised. I mean, he was absolutely right. The new player experience is horrible for all of the reasons he mentioned. And I mean, Classic is just the best entry out there. And you can claim that Classic is confusing, but I think once you actually get into the game, it's so digestible, people would naturally learn the game in a matter of days. It's honestly not that complex. Yes, you can get lost, and some would say it's one of the better feature of it, but at the same time, the no hand holding is way more beneficial for you because it actually makes you use your brain. It's perfect. And watching this, I'm not gonna lie, it just made me want to log back into TBC. And now that I have a subscription, I think that I can do that, right? I can do it on the same subscription. It's not like a different subscription. I believe I can do that. You know what? Maybe I'll try. But at the same time, oh man, this was beautiful to watch. I love this. It's just crazy to see all of this unfolds. How many players hate the new player experience, and he was a returning player just like I am. So it's just so funny to see. I cannot even imagine what an actual new player would feel like. But for some reason, I've never found a video of new players trying retail. No, wait, I actually seen one, and he ended up quitting. So maybe that's it. Maybe no other player has even bothered to make a video about this because it was so atrocious. But I guess at the end of the day, it's all Blizzard's fault, and they can easily fix this, but they choose not to because they're lazy and incompetent.